Okay, welcome back to What If History Restarted. This is episode 35 now, and there's going to be some important events happening today. Just to let you know. First of all, though, what's the first of those important events is over here in Denmark. They're not that particularly large of a country, but they are a top 10 power, barely. And some of the people in this country feel like they could definitely be doing more than what they're doing right now. So there's actually kind of a coup that overthrows the current leader and installs a much more expansionist government. And so with that, it's going to start expanding. It immediately starts going down into here. That country follows almost immediately. When it goes into this yellowish one, obviously things get a little bit more chaotic because everyone else decides that they want to start invading too. I do not know what's happening with the colors. But now we have 2 star countries and 1 square country here. I guess probably 3 star countries because this one's probably helping out the brown one. And so there's some fighting here where the star people, or star alliance people, start attacking soldiers of Tuscany, and now Tuscany's very angry and is going to start invading this greenish one. However, after that, the war just kind of stalemates, and so the peace treaty is pretty much established like how it is right now. So Tuscany will be fully annexing this country. Not like that. Goodbye. And then up here, this country is going to get divided up fully between these 3 nations. Let's do it like this for now. Well, technically these 2 countries. So first of all, Denmark is going to be getting all of this, including both capitals. The brownish Belgium kind of country is going to be getting all of that, and then the rest will go over to Tuscany. So if we make these not capitals, we can see that this is now what the borders are looking like over here. Denmark has expanded a decent amount. They are not done. Alliances and cities, we need both of those. But Denmark's next opponent is going to be another square team country, which is going to be this orangey one up here in Scandinavia. And yeah, they just start going after him. And this country is very weak, and even though it's on the square team, no one else in the square team really cares about it that much, so yeah. Anyway, and this peace treaty, maybe unsurprisingly, is fully annexed. Although, why is there little thingies? Actually, it might not be fully annexed, but like the vast majority of the country is getting annexed. All that remains is this little northern chunk up here. They probably have to build a new city just to be their capital. They are not very well off anymore. I mean, they weren't to begin with, but now they're much worse. Denmark also has these 2 weird little exclaves, and well, they're going to be probably connecting up with those now. This country's capital is right on the border, and is not going to take much for Denmark to take it over. And from there, it just kind of all collapses. Anyway, now Denmark's weird plan can unfold. Because basically what they do is they give everyone who is in the land of both this orange country was over here, and from the brown country that was over here, they tell them that you can either stay living where you are and be a part of our empire, or you can go up to your new weird mini country up here, migrate up there and live there. And so it's about split. About half the people choose to stay living here, and about half of them migrate up here. But the reason for this is what Denmark is going to do. It just makes this a puppet state. Well, first of all, it unites these two countries together. We'll use this brown one. And turns them into a puppet state, although it'll probably have its capital down there. So yeah, to show that it's a puppet state, we could just, hold on a second, add this little line up there. So yeah, it's a puppet state now. And Denmark has gone very big. Now they rest for a couple years, and now they can go with the real big stage of their plan, which is that the coup, well, it's been staying in the, what's it called? This shape, Star Alliance, that's it. The coup government has stayed in the Star Alliance, but that was just to be protected, because now they're going to be leaving the Star Alliance. And after that, they're going to use that to their advantage to start invading down into Belgium, which is interesting. Tuscany starts invading up into Belgium as well, because this is just free land. But then Denmark's going to go and start going in on their troops, and now that's not great. And now they're even going to start going into Tuscany itself a little bit here. And Germany's definitely pretty conflicted. They want to call out, Denmark for being a traitor, but also they do acknowledge it's the coup government, and also this could be a good opportunity. So for now, they're just going to kind of ignore everything, and they're just going to go after Tuscany. But their plan is that after Tuscany is weakened, then they're going to try and reinstate the old Danish government. So yeah, them and Catalonia both start pushing up here. Tuscany is extremely powerful, though. So first of all, they pretty much get all this, reclaim all this territory, as well as knock out Belgium, which now puts pressure off this vital city, so it is not taken. Over here in Germany, though, they're still making a pretty good push in. And they're also probably being funded by, the rest of the Star Alliance, so that's good for them. Catalonia kind of just gets pushed back to the border because of the Pyrenees Mountains here. They really can't go any further now. This front line is also definitely kind of, halted. I forget the word. Stalemated. But anyway, it's going to change after a little bit because Denmark is going to come up with a plan, quote-unquote, to send its troops up here, so Germany also sends its troops up here. Really, it's just so Denmark can get more land out of the peace treaty. Tuscany starts pushing out this, because now there's a lot less troops here. But Denmark starts flooding through up here, taking over a lot of Belgian land. And from here, this is now where the war finally actually stalemates, and they agree to peace. So, looking at the peace treaty, where he went too far back, I think. Okay, here. First of all, Germany is going to get just a little bit of land out of Tuscany. Just this little pocket over here. Over here, Tuscany is going to get a little bit of land out of Catalonia. And then finally, poor Belgium is definitely getting the worst off. Well, this isn't finally, but first of all, they lose all of this land over to France, or Tuscany, whatever. And then the rest of them goes over to Belgium. I cannot find the right layer. I believe this will be the first vital city I just went on the religion there. I believe this will be the first vital city for Denmark. They're replacing this one with a vital city. Anyway, now the time has come, essentially. Denmark has gotten extremely powerful, and they're very scary, and they're not in the Star Alliance anymore. So Germany is going to go on in and attempt to reinstate the old government. Thankfully, their capital is right here. However, Denmark was kind of expecting this attack, so they are not completely taken back. After that, Germany does go through with a little assault down here. Tuscany considers invading one or the other, but then both of these countries also start invading them, and they probably just end up losing land, because Germany, even if Tuscany is the strongest country in the world, Germany and Denmark together are definitely would beat it out by a little bit, especially if you throw Catalonia in there. So they decide to stay neutral. Anyway, Germany finally captures its capital and starts making a pretty big encirclement over here. However, Denmark makes some naval landings. They have a pretty good navy. They capture this major city. I almost said naval city. From there, they have a pretty intense naval battle. Like, I don't know what it's called, but like in this sea. But eventually, Denmark is the winner in that. I don't know if I should say Denmark or like the coup, because this is not the old Denmark. This is a coup government. Anyway, over here, Belgian rebels start popping up. So that's not good. And pretty much this entire chunk over here just falls over. But up here, Denmark is doing much better as they take over the entire coast. Anyway, Mr. Changing Shape down here is going to also change its shape again. Or at least they're going to hope that they do, because they are now actually going to go after Germany as well. Here, Denmark actually makes a pretty effective counteroffensive and takes back this major city. And then spearhead out and take this one. And now Tuscany has finally decided it's time, and they're going to start pushing into Germany up here. But what's interesting is that Denmark now starts focusing its troops down here. When it gets down there, it almost starts like defending Germany. This is just because Tuscany is the strongest country in the world, and right now they're kind of vulnerable because they have a lot of their military out, like focusing in on this major city and the surrounding lands. And if Denmark is not focusing on them while they're vulnerable right now, they might just get even more powerful and then become like pretty much unstoppable. So they're not going to take any chances. Instead, they start focusing more on Tuscany than Germany. With that, Germany, one of the stronger countries in the world, manages to now reclaim most of their old land, and also push into Dalmatia a little bit. That's what I'm going to call them. Over here, the Belgian rebels are put down. And now, once again, we just like have a repeat of the war that we just saw. So you now have Denmark and Catalonia both pushing up into Tuscany. Catalonia mostly that goes around the ocean here on boats to get around the Pyrenees Mountains. And speaking of ocean travel, they also go over here and take these islands. They have a pretty big coastline thing over here, but eventually this kind of reached both of the vital cities. But over here, Denmark's strategy is that they take the entire coast and now surround this vital city, and they actually managed to capture it. This is a very big loss for Tuscany, who also has lost a lot of their major cities. Here, Germany and Denmark have kind of stabilized this front line. Germany's really not even like Germany anymore. They're more like Czechia, Bohemia, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, Tuscany is now falling apart once more. This is also because there are some rebels, mainly down in Italy, where everything is always very chaotic. As we now see some more kingdoms want to declare their independence. So we'll just like make them random colors, but there's just a bunch of groups down here fighting for independence. With that though, Tuscany does manage to take back a lot of this land, as well as to Corsica. But it is now here that the war is going to stalemate once again, And Denmark is very clearly kind of the victor here out of everyone. And so we now will take a look at this peace treaty after I undo everything. Denmark, it definitely has this weird relationship with Germany now. Because, Germany wants the old Denmark back. But Denmark kind of is okay with Germany, even if Germany doesn't really like them. It's a very odd situation. But anyway, we're going to have to move Germany's star down here. Belgium, or this is not Belgium. Denmark is forming the Danish Empire officially, as they now become even stronger than Germany, probably. Definitely stronger than Germany by now. They take over all of the coastal region. And down here in Tuscany, they are definitely making them a lot smaller. Take all of this land over. Catalonia did do surprisingly well in this war, so they're going to be getting back pretty much all the territory that they've ever lost, as well as even Sardinia. Yep, this country's way too close in color. Gotta change that. Ooh. Sure. And as for Germany, they get a nice chunk out of Dalmatia, as well as this little pocket of Tuscany. And we now do see some Italian kingdoms form. Make a very light green one around the city. And make a very dark green one right next to it. Actually, that looks too close to that one, so no. So once again, more little tiny Italian countries. Italy is like the third most divided place in the world. Second place would be Britain, and first place would be, of course, terrible old Oman over here. Germany's shape has changed very much, and Denmark is now probably the second strongest country in the world. I say them and Tuscany are like right neck and neck by now, and then Indus is still first, but yeah, these two are like neck and neck now. Anyway, though, some interesting things are going to be happening that might just go in the way of what I just said. As we know, Belgium just kind of got obliterated over here, but so did like the entire militaries of Tuscany and Denmark. So while both these countries are rebuilding, little Belgium is going to see this as a perfect time to rebel away from both of them. And really, there's not much the countries can do to stop them. So we now see this Belgian country return from the dead. Hooray. I don't know what this is. Well, yeah. They mainly broke away from Denmark, but a little bit from Tuscany. Anyway, Denmark is still looking to go after a little bit more land. Not too much, though. Them and Mr. Old Finland over here are actually going to come to an interesting treaty, or deal, I guess. They basically just agreed to launch across all three of these countries. So that is what they will be doing. Where are the Estonian islands? I do not know. But yeah. Finland has gotten a lot stronger recently, and of course, so has Mr. Old Belgium, or not Belgium, Denmark. So this war is not going to be too difficult for either of them. And pretty much instantly, all three of these countries are just wiped off the map. I've had to fix the color of this island like 20 times this episode. But anyway, looking at this P3, not like that, no. Finland is going to be getting a very nice portion of Estonia. Reducing them to just this little rectangular kind of thing. This is a major city. And then this star needs to be moved. they also need a capital. This country really doesn't get affected. They just kind of have to pay money and stuff. However, this country down here is definitely going to be getting affected. We're actually going to be erasing their star. And that's just because most of their territory is going to be going over to Denmark. Although, and the rest of it will decide to unite with Latvia. Now, these colors are way too close together. There's 2 red countries and 2 green ones. We'll change this one's color. That's fine, I guess. Some of it will decide to unite with this country, I guess. This country is a weird little panhandle there, but oh well. With that, Denmark will start doing some work, and they will get some vital cities. Or well, probably just one, but maybe 2 if they're lucky. And by that, I mean if I decide that I should deserve to. Yeah, we'll get that one in Poland, and then this one up in Sweden. With that, Denmark just has one more thing on their agenda, and I mean it's over very quickly. But poor little Germany is getting demoted severely in the power rankings, as now they get once again invaded by Denmark. There's hardly even a war to show here. It's just Denmark invading and taking land. And so, this is how our map of Europe is looking. Very drastically different, thanks to a certain someone. Anyway, moving away from that now. My mic is not muted, that is good to see. We gotta do a daily Omani Empire update. So, 1 and 2 and 3. Yep. And this is what it's looking like now. We do gotta change the capital cities layers. I just realized that. Well, yeah, as you can see, this green one is definitely becoming very large. It almost got coalitioned, but it did not, as you can tell. We also saw the unfortunate death of that big brown one up here. They are gone. So let's be real, I don't think this is going to be I don't think these are going to be actual cities. This is in the middle of the desert. But yeah. Anyway, now we're going to move on to the final event of the video. There's really only 3. Denmark, HRE update, or HOE, I guess. And now we're going to be moving over to Asia, where the Mr. Indus over here is going to be doing some interesting things. It's going to be lining its troops up along the border of this country, this Indian country. So the upside down triangle alliance is like, whoa, what are you doing there? But then the triangle alliance is like, we do not want that. But Indus won't listen to them, and they really want to invade them because they're going to get a coast on the Bay of Bengal. So anyway, Indus is going to start invading it, but then that would trigger the entire upside down triangle alliance, and the triangle alliance really does not want to get in this war. So they kick Indus out of their alliance. And the Upside Down Triangle Alliance is like, okay, well, to prove that that's true, you also gotta help us out. So now somehow we have the Upside Down Triangle and the Triangle Alliances working together to kill this behemoth. So we pretty quickly see a massive influx of troops from all of China. And Indus gets pushed out of here. However, Indus is the strongest country in the world, so after they lose this major city, they are now going to really start trying, because now they are actually pulling their entire military, and now things do not look good, as they run straight across one of the strongest countries in the coalition, and this one. So everyone else needs help. So we're going to see that like this country will start invading. Pretty much every country that borders Indus will start invading, including this one, who's kind of its ally, but they're like, they kind of recognize that they're going way too far here. We see this red one, and we see the red one. Make that more noticeable. Let's try and get this vital city, but they're not quite able to. They need to start moving around the Caspian coast. We also even see that the Holy Omani Empire as a whole is going to start invading it. Now, the original Oman was this color, so I guess this is what we'll be using to show them. I guess we could make this land that color then too. This just means the Holy Omani Empire together. So yeah, everything here together is now all working together, moving along this coast of Persia. They also get close to this vital city, but are unable to capture it. And then we, of course, start to see rebellions taking place. So the Persians are very hard to keep down, and Indus is currently owning them, so they are going to want to break free. And now they start rebelling up here. I don't really know what the point of making it look like that was. You also see this random Himalayan thing. There's like 5 people in this, but it does exist. And then up here, we see a rebellion on this coast. We see a rebellion down in India, a very big one. And now Indus kind of starts to realize that this might not be going well for them. All of China, including Baikal and Korea, are now pushing their troops out here. So we have every country with a triangle or upside down triangle. Probably all of these Central Asian countries. This one, the red team, the Holy Omani Empire, and like 5 different rebellions. They're all going in at once here. Things are not looking good. Indus, for a while, pretty much united the Lime religion, but that is now coming to an end because even if they're all the same religion, there's definitely some different cultures here, and they all want out of this massive thing. So Indus just becomes this massive patchwork of a ton of different groups. This vital city is the first vital city to fall, and we now see that all of Persia is now cut off, so of course this means that we're going to see something a little bit like this happen. Including this vital city and that last one up here. Here, this rebellion stabilizes. This one stabilizes. This guy starts pushing in more. The Himalayan thing just kind of goes north of the Himalayas. And now this is just gone. So the Himalayas are like right here, we'll say. So they are unable to go past that, but they are able to send their troops around here. It'll just take a while. But regardless, we see even more groups break up. I see this one's like kind of Persian. Well, I throw in a yellow one. Pretty big guy. Some more gold. Make it purple. The Indians taking all this, and then these guys take all this. The capital area is now cut off. Bangladeshis, as well as just all of the Chinese people, have gone through all of this. And now finally, just all of this thing breaks off. And now finally, the capital is taken. And now, the strongest country in the world looks like this. So, boom. I forgot what transition I was doing, so pretend that made sense. But anyway, In this peace treaty, many things have happened. So starting up here, the red team got a pretty nice chunk of land. And this rebellion got its independence. Its capital will be right here. Gotta give it this weird little thing. And this Persian one is also independent. It's pretty big. And its capital could be right here. Not there. What am I doing? Yes, right here, where this vital city was. Over here we have another thing like this, except this one is way more valuable. This is some of the most wealthy area in the world, this Persian coast. And now the Holy Omani Empire owns it, so that'll be helping them out a lot. This country over here, its capital is on a very interesting spot, but yeah, it's literally right at the bottom. That is not a capital, that is a vital city. I'll move it up a little bit. And we do see some just like random ones, like there's this one out here, this beigeish one, there's the purple one. I decided to make this one orange. This capital is right here. Yeah, this was formerly where the capital of Indus was, but Indus is gone now. Over here, this one has a capital. Indus did fall like pretty fast, like it seemed, but that was more just because like it did take a while and it was a very costly war, but like there wasn't really any counteroffensive by Indus. It was just a very slow push inwards that took a lot of casualties. And then finally there's this Himalayan one. Their capital, I don't even know where they put it, like up here. Sure. So yeah, this area of the world looks very different now. Oh, and Bangladesh and India, both the Indias, they got land. But yeah, that is going to do it for this pretty long episode, and very important, other than the power rankings. So, looking at those, I'll just go ahead and bam. Okay, first place with Indus gone. That's way too big. First place is going to be, is it going to be Denmark? I'll say first place is Tuscany, but just barely over Denmark. Third, I'm going to go with Baikal. Fourth is Korea. They've gone up a lot. Fifth is probably red team. Sixth is the Holy, we'll just call it Oman. Them combined is pretty powerful, actually. And then seventh, Finland. Eighth, Catalonia. Ninth, Bangladesh. 10th, Germany, although they're not really Germany anymore. Probably gonna call them like, I don't know what I'm gonna call them. It's very odd. It's kind of Austria. I'll say Austria. But yeah, Austria. So there we go. That's the top 10. Of course, if you don't factor in Oman as being one, then they wouldn't be up there, but I'd say they pretty much are. Because, like, obviously they'd fight each other, but, like, if any other country attacks them, then they're all required to join in. Yeah. Plus they have all these shared territories, which are pretty valuable. Well, not this one, the coastal one. But anyway, that is actually the end now. So